Welcome back to Fire Emblem Engage. Last time we fended off Ivy's attack on Brodia Castle, and now we're going to see the aftermath of that.
We recovered the ring, but the emblem is tainted with Fell Dragon energy.
Maybe you should just give him an S-drink. Although, wait, Leif's supposed to be immune to the stamina mechanic.
I'll have to summon him again myself. Free us, Emblem of Genealogy!
On first impression, Leif is the worst emblem in the game. That is until you realise he's meant more for utility than combat, at which point he actually becomes really good. And that's fitting, because it also sums up Leif's performance in his home game perfectly. His emblem ring raises HP, though not to the extent of Roy, defense, but most importantly, build. And this is a big bonus to build too. I didn't mean to alliterate there. Combined with his inheritance, Leif is great for those characters who would love to double attack with heavy weapons, but whose build is lacking. While synced, Leif provides Arm Shield, which gives a reduction in damage if you have weapon advantage against the enemy, starting at -3 and upgrading to -5 at Bond 7. This gives the weapon triangle another purpose besides breaking. His other sync skill is one of his biggest assets, the ever-useful Vantage. At this level, it only triggers at 25% or less health. Once you're in range, you will always attack before the foe's counterattack on the enemy phase. This is often combined with high critical hit weapons, to bank on one-shotting the enemy before they hit you. This combines very well with another inheritable emblem skill obtained later on, as well as a character who joins the same time that later emblem does. This is a very infamous build in Engage, and I plan to talk about it once we get there. But now we come to the negative, the reason why Leif is so disliked. His Engage skill adaptable. On the enemy phase, so okay, synergizes with Vantage. Leif's user, if they have multiple weapons, and they will automatically switch to the best weapon to counter the foe. And I put best in air quotes because Leif's idea of best weapon is suboptimal at best and outright suicidal at worst. The skill prioritizes avoiding break. The problem is that it doesn't pay attention to the weight of the weapon it's equipping. And some of Leif's Engage weapons, especially the Master Lance unlocked at Bond 10, are so heavy they can drop your speed 5 points below the enemies when it wasn't before and get you doubled. I've heard many horror stories of Adaptable literally getting people killed through equipping the Master Lance. And not just against sword users. If a ranged enemy attacks you and you have no other ranged weapon available, Leif will force the Master Lance on you. This skill at least gives an additional bonus to a variety of class types, and backups getting +10 crit works well with the Killer Axe, but it's still a pretty bad ability. Speaking of bad abilities, quadruple hits. This attacks the enemy once with each of Leif's 4 Engage weapons. Now normally I don't show the Engage weapons beyond rank 10 for the first emblem bio because they aren't unlocked yet. But I make an exception for Leif because people need to understand why quadruple hit is doing pathetic damage. Leif's Engage weapons are not very strong. And the light brand is magical, so you need high strength and magic for optimal damage, which not many people have. And the Master Bow is only used during quadruple hit. These are its stats if you're interested, and they suck. It will break anything using a sword, axe, or lance, and if you're a key adept, it breaks anything, period. dragons do more damage, and covert units have a luck % chance to obtain 1000 gold, which is a reference to Leif's blade from Fire Emblem Awakening, and maybe the capture mechanic from Leif's game. Like the rest of Leif's kit though, there are ways to make this good. The first one is sword power. For some reason, this affects all 4 hits, even though it should just affect the light brand one. All 4 hits are also boosted by Divinely Inspiring and Momentum if you have that. So, many consider not being engaged at all preferable to being engaged with Leif. The Killer Axe's crit boost is kind of nice, but it's inaccurate and heavy. The Master Lance is a 1 to 2 range brave weapon, but it's also very inaccurate, stupidly heavy, and weak, making it the main reason Adaptable sucks. But there's a way to get around it. If you raise someone's bond level with Leif to 9, and never do Leif's rank B bond conversation, you'll ensure they never unlock the Master Lance, thereby removing the hazard to a long and happy life. But if you don't want to use Leif for combat, and you probably shouldn't, you do want to raise his bond level as high as possible, because Leif's skill inheritance is where it's at, giving you fairly cheap boost to build, all the defensive arm shield with none of the baggage of using Leif, Vantage, arguably one of the most important inheritable skills in the game, Knife Precision to make your dagger users even better dodge tanks, and 6, count them, 6 weapon proficiencies. This is a reference to Leif's promotion to Master Knight in Fire Emblem Genealogy, which allowed him to use every weapon type, including tomes, which is the one proficiency he doesn't give here, but he does give knives which weren't in his game. Okay then. Simply having Leif's Emblem Ring opens up near infinite reclassing potential to your whole army. I'd argue that alone makes up for Leif's bad combats, but when he also passes down Vantage and build bonuses, Leif is a great utility emblem and not to be underestimated.
I am Leif. Thank you for letting me swing a sword with these arms again. I will do what I can to retrieve that which has been stolen.
Thank you, Leif.
I do like Leif's voice acting a lot, personally. I kind of doubt that Thracia will get remade anytime soon, but it is a game with a pretty underrated story, I feel, and I'd like to hear its cast with full voice acting. I've said many times that Echoes greatly improved, like, Echoes took one of the least memorable casts to me and made them one of the most memorable, and now the Thracia cast, besides Reinhardt, are like the least memorable in Fire Emblem, and I'd love to see them elevated.
How could I have failed?
Oh no! I dropped the Leaf key! Oh my god, that was awful. I'm sorry, I hate puns. That was physically painful for me to say.
It's over, Princess Ivy. Surrender.
I will not. There is more for me to do.
No!
Well, Ivy just Huberted us. Yes, I've turned Hubert into a verb now.
She's gone. Your Highness, urgent news from the border.
What is it?
An Aleutian battalion stands at the ready. King Hyacinth is acting as general. He's leading their army himself.
Well, I guess he didn't take Diamant's advice to his king.
What?
Yes. And he is demanding to see King Morian.
I must face him. Anything less would bring dishonor to Brodia.
It would bring dishonor to our whole family, including our cow.
Father, he's baiting you. This may be a trap of some kind. Go back inside.
Ha! I can fight my way out of whatever trap he springs.
I urge you to reconsider.
Listen, who's the father and who's the son here? Stop trying to protect me. Son, this has been happening a lot lately. What's it all about?
What, him questioning you for being a giant idiot?
Are you worried Brodia might lose this war? Or lose its king?
We're not ready for any of this. Brodia to lose its king. Or me, my father.
Diamant.
From a young age, I was told I would lead Brodia after you died. Imagine, a boy forced to anticipate his father's death. To think of that empty throne.
You may have actually already seen some hints of things like this if you got Alchrist and Saline C support, which is one that I want to try and unlock as soon as possible. It's great.
The Fell Dragon has returned. War is here. The future is uncertain, and I'm not ready.
It's all right, Diamant. If I die, I die. Brodia will live on.
But, Father...
What? You don't believe me? After I'm gone, I know you will lead with a steady hand. Though, I'm offended you expect that day to come so soon. You think I'm gonna lose, huh? You think I'm weak? That I need your protection? Oh, the hubris of youth.
That's not what I meant.
King Hyacinth awaits me on the field of war, his army at the ready. If Brodia hides, then what? After years locked in battle with Elusia, will we reveal ourselves as cowards?
I mean, whose fault is it that you're at war with Elusia in the first place, though? It's kinda yours.
Listen to me, Diamant. I will fight bravely for Brodia. I do not fear death. Being known as a king who runs from battle, that scares me far more.
Well, what about being known as a king who makes practical decisions and doesn't invade their neighbors and also is smart? Yeah, what about being known for that?
What do you think about this, Alchrist?
Me?
He never asked me for my opinion on anything! Sadly, probably something Alchrist has actually said.
If I die, and Diamant alongside me, you will take the throne.
No, don't do that. Now Alchrist is going to spend the next 2 chapters in the middle of an intense panic attack.
Father, don't say that.
I will not let that pass. I will protect Diamant to the bitter end.
Alchrist.
Haha, that's my boy! Diamant, you could learn a thing or two from your brother. Fear has no place in my kingdom.
Because it's the path to the dark side?
If we step into fear, then we step out of Brodia.
But you're already literally stepping out of Brodia. You're gonna meet the enemies on, like, the border with Elusia.
Now then, to the border!
It seems I can't dissuade you from this path. All I can do is walk it with you. Come on, everyone. Let's show Elusia why we're called the Kingdom of Might.
Haha, that's it. This won't be the last time I see the castle. And when I'm back, a tournament with our strongest warriors. That means you, Divine One.
Me?
Well, I mean, Aaliyah did just show his martial arts skills.
Yes, I want to see you transform into a mighty dragon. Whoosh! Roar!
Maureen is just voicing the opinions of a lot of the fan base at this point.
Oh, okay.
What's the matter?
Ah, nothing. You're right. I could turn into a dragon.
I like how he just goes with it, though.
I'm looking forward to that.
Alira's like, okay, quick, everyone at the Somnial, we need to quickly make a cardboard and fabric dragon for me to pilot.
I'd like to spar with you too, Divine One, after Father gets his chance. But that's for later. Now, we should prepare for our journey to the border.
The irony, if you use Alira in the arena, he could end up fighting Diamant.
Indeed.
This talk of turning into a dragon. Mother could. Can I? I have no idea if I can. Or how.
And Corrin could. Well, we've got another big batch of military funds, and unlike the DLC military funds, I don't have to spend this all on donations. Seeing her sprite here, I'm glad that I got to use Etier in that fight and that she actually did something.
Hey!
And she's right there. Yeah, so, I don't know, I might try using Amber a little bit and just see if he does well, because he's kind of a cool character in terms of combat.
Yes.
Hopefully he doesn't take after his father in the brains department. I still just love how King Morian just sounds so similar to Moron, and it's probably intentional. Morian is really kind of interesting as a character, though, because, he's kind of what happens if, like, okay, so
That's right.
Pretty much any other Fire Emblem game, Morion would probably be one of the major villains. Except the typical peaceful nation negotiated with him instead of fighting him. And this kind of just shows what kind of a world situation that leads to.
Divine One.
Because he hasn't really given up his warmongering against Illusia, and I don't know, maybe it might have been better to instead fight against him and remove him from the throne, so it is just, it's kind of interesting to think about. Okay, well, yes, thankfully King Morion isn't Reen Schwarzer, or that would have been really awkward. Oh yeah, we're also, like, even though this is pretty much just a Brodia issue, we're now involved, so we have to march on the border too. Fortunately, you weren't in that fight at all.
Pardon me.
Oh, it's a mage.
Yes.
Oh, actually, no, maybe I think those are the female mages, and those are the, like, in fact, that design could easily pass for a young boy, though.
Zappy!
Okay, yeah, finally, but yeah, when you have more characters in your army, it takes a while to talk to the people who actually contributed, so now finally I'm going to start getting the bond fragments. And, guess we get to loot some of those ballista ammo for steel. Well, you leveled up then too, and now you're ready for promotion. You should be the one celebrating. So you're our ally, so I guess it's okay, typical King Moron quote.
Right.
Oh, she did well. I kind of question you gaining more bond fragments than Clan. I kind of like to think Clan did better in that chapter.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, and you get a little bit for leveling up. Yeah, because Lapis didn't level up at all. She did handle a few enemies, but she didn't level up. And that's kind of a shame, because I would like her to level up in order to, get closer to Brave Assist for those double chain attacks. It would be nice to have those before Chapter 10. Yeah, we're at Chapter 9 already. That's kind of crazy to think about. The early chapters do go by. I mean, it feels like it's been fast. It's been like 12 hours, and, well, I'm mostly thinking that because, yeah, this time last year I was recording Persona 5.
We'll return soon. I leave Brodia Castle in the Royal Guard's capable hands.
And in Persona 5, you take 12 hours and you're, like, barely out of the prologue.
Yes, Your Majesty.
You can count on us. Done a fine job protecting it all these years, haven't we?
Oh no, you've been demoted to castle guarding duty just like Arden from Fire Emblem 4. But yes, this is a Brodian with no helmet, so an actual face, and a name. She is totally not going to be important later at all.
We won't start slacking off just because you're not around.
Excellent. And when we return, you'll be treated to a victory feast.
Except, I've replaced all of my animals with dogs, so, unless you eat metal, you're not gonna have a big feast.
Looking forward to it. See you soon, Your Majesty.
The weird thing that just pops in my head is that, like, I can kind of picture her actually eating metal, though.
Strong of body.
Strong of heart.
All right, time to head out.
Here we go.
They're wrapping up their goodbyes.
Yes. Onto the border.
Well, I mean, at least we know we have to go to Illusia anyway, to deal with the Fell Dragon, hopefully, who hasn't been, like, fully summoned yet. Also, they still have a few of the rings they took from Lethos Castle. So, here we are, back at the Sawmill. Yes, I know something has been found at the Lookout Ridge, but before I do that, I need to make sure that Diamant is not there, because I need to... Okay, Amber is at the Cafe Terrace. You know what? If Amber's close, let's speak to Amber first. So, I need to go over Amber's profile.
Oh! My legend starts now!
Amber is interesting. Firstly, his base stats are about the same as Alfred's average stats at level 11, so that's a shame for Alfred fans. But what's notable about Amber is his very high strength. A personal base of 9 is the highest we've seen so far, and is one of the highest in the game overall. He's also tied for the best strength personal growth outside of DLC. His other decent growths are defense and luck, but his speed and dexterity can be a bit lacking. The plus 20 hit from his personal skill can help with this, though both himself and the enemy need to be essentially isolated for it to work. So Amber hits hard, but has difficulty double attacking. What can we do about this? Well, one common answer is to reclass him to Halberdier. Its class skill lets you automatically double attack if there's another ally adjacent to that foe, though this does ruin Amber's personal skill. The other, and possibly more fun approach is, sure, Amber doesn't double, but it doesn't matter because he only needs to hit you once. This involves reclassing to something with high strength like Warrior, watching Amber's strength growth go bonkers off of his already good base, forging up a very strong weapon like a Great Axe, inheriting Vantage from Leif, and maybe a critical boosting skill from another emblem. Vantage works with smash weapons, by the way, and laughing maniacally as Amber one-shots anything that dares attack him. It takes a little to get this going, but not as much as most investment units. There is another character who joins later who can fulfill this role a little better than Amber, but there's no reason you can't use both. Overall, Amber's enormous strength and not much else makes him a one-trick alpaca, but a surprisingly deadly alpaca. That's a weird sentence, but it fits because Amber's weird. Oh, that's an alpaca on his vest. It's not. I thought it was Somi for a second. It makes sense if he was already a fan. For some reason, Diamant's at the farm. I would not call this the farmyard. This is closer to the Central Plaza. Hi there, Roy. Yeah, I'm sure you're used to being in castles because your entire life's purpose is just to seize enemy castles.
Right.
Diamant's, Somial fashion does look pretty nice. Oh, he was another person who taught us while we were asleep. Why? But let's go over Diamant now.
Nothing short of victory.
You've met the Brodian Prince who isn't Diamant. Now it's time to meet the Brodian Prince who is. Out of the gate, Diamant has great HP, strength, dexterity, speed, and defense, making him an excellent offensive and defensive all-rounder, and can also contribute chain attack support due to his version of Lord being a backup class. And having 50% growths in strength, speed, and defense, alongside a huge 90% HP, looks very appealing. In my first playthrough, Diamant was a combat monster for the next 3 chapters, one-rounding everything he fought and never dying, and that performance made me use him for the whole game. And then the issues started to show. The first thing you should know about Diamant is while his overall base stats look high, most of that comes from his personal class. His personal bases are more comparable to Lapis. It was just the low bases of Swordfighter holding her back. So while he may seem like an objectively better version of her who joins only 1 chapter later, in practice, they fill similar roles of being chain attack support who can also fight. The second thing to know about Diamant is his dexterity is awful. His base value there is good, but with his low growth and the horrendously low stat cap of his personal class, Diamant has some major issues with accuracy later on, which is only exasperated by axes being his only good ranged option. Plus 15 hit from his personal skill does help a bit, but it only works if the foe has full HP and are able to counter, discouraging Diamant from going after archers in melee or anything else with a tomahawk. His unique promotion gives him access to axes for ranged chain attacks, buffs up his speed and defense growths by 5, which is nice, and in contrast to his brother's Luna, has Soul as its class skill. You'd normally think a healing skill would work great on someone as tanky as Diamant, but it has 2 huge problems. First, it activates based on Diamant's horrendous dexterity stat. Second, self-healing has negative synergy with the best tanking emblem in the game, an emblem that would otherwise suit Diamant's playstyle. Overall, Diamant is incredible when he first joins, but suffers major drawbacks in the long term. He can still be a decent mix of attacker and physical tank, but you will need to work around his dexterity, and unlike Citrine's speed, that's not easy. And while on the subject of going over things we just got in the previous chapter, Roy's bond rings are Raging Fire from Lilina, which makes you deal plus 20 damage with Fire, Elfire, or Bolganone, all pretty decent tomes. The thing is, you'll usually get more mileage out of a magical offense emblem, like Celica or someone else we'll be seeing later, but still, if you've got nothing better to use on someone, on like a magic user, this is pretty cool. And Deke gives Strong Arm, hit plus 20 while equipped with a smash weapon. Smash weapons in general are pretty strong in certain situations, especially for engage attacks, so that's not a bad thing to have. And now, Leif's bond rings. Leif has Miracle from an S-rank Finn, which gives you a chance to automatically dodge if you would otherwise be killed by an attack. It's a luck % chance, and the maximum chance is 50%. Just like Miracle in all Fire Emblem games, I don't like to rely on this. Any skill that requires you to die to be useful, essentially, in a game with permadeath, I'm just like, no. I mean, it can be a nice insurance policy if you, are in danger. The problem with this, though, is that Roy himself already has the Hold Out skill, which is basically this but better, since it always works. But the one you've probably all been waiting for, the most famous bond ring skill, Dire Thunder from Olwen S-rank. When unit initiates combat with Thunder, not L Thunder and Thoron, only base Thunder, you count as having a Brave weapon, and so you attack twice. This is the only way to get multiple attacks with Thunder in this game. And there are some people who, I mean, this bond ring got a lot of hype in the early days of Engage. I feel like it's a little less hyped now because there are really good mage emblems and this kind of stops you from having one. It's still pretty nice to have for that Thunder doubling. In fact, I am very tempted to quote-unquote pull on Leif's banner just to try and get it. Okay, I'm going to save first though, because I may get insanely lucky and end up getting it immediately. No Olwen. I did get a few other Olwens, but no S-rank Olwen. Okay. Because this is Olwen, I think now is a good time to show off the ring manipulation trick. So, this is easier when you have access to paralogs, but it works when you have access to a regular chapter as well. So, okay. Firstly, I am going to keep doing pulls of 10 on Leif's banner until S-rank Olwen shows up. So that's 10 rings. The RNG will always be the same, like after every save. So I can't reload abuse for these. Did not get it at all, even within 90 rings. Actually though, I think that still works. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quit and I'm going to load my save. What I'm going to do now is, I am going to leave the Somnial and go to the next chapter. I estimate this chapter has roughly 28 enemies on it. It's important to know the number of enemies in the chapter. What I'm going to do is start this chapter and then immediately quit back to the world map. What this is going to do is, it's going to advance the rings by the number of enemies on that map. So the rings have been advanced by about 30. So if I enter the chapter again... Okay, so... After resetting that chapter 3 times, so around 90 or so, I then got Olwen in the 3rd ring of, I had 9,000 at the start, okay, so I'm down to 4,000 bond fragments, so that would have been the 5th pull. Okay, Olwen appeared in the 53rd bond ring, and if this chapter has 28 enemies, that would mean that I can't actually reset this chapter twice, I can only reset it once. And so with that, one more pull of 10, and then 1, 2... 3! There is Olwen S. So that got me Olwen for much less bond fragments spent. That is the trick for manipulating bond rings. And while I'm here, it said there was a new feature in the ring chamber for several chapters. I thought it was just Micaiah's bond rings, but it's not. It's actually this. You can use certain materials to augment your engage weapons. Crystals increase stats, while Banes add effectiveness against unit types. If there wasn't any effectiveness against that unit type on the weapon already. Like, for example, you can't, like, add Cavalry Bane to Marth's Rapier, because it already had it. You can earn the materials to augment these engage weapons in Tempest Trials or Relay Trials. So, the reason why I forgot about this is because I don't like using it, as you need to do the online multiplayer in order to get the materials to augment these weapons. Aside from the free ones you get given by the DLC. But like, for example, I can put one hit crystal 10 on the rapier to increase its hit rate, or wow, okay, a might increase to that is absolutely insane. Like that extra might on the rapier is going to count for triple against armored and cavalry. Also, why can we enhance falchion here? We can't even use that with Marth right now. Yeah, let's just say there are bond levels above 10, and they unlock the higher tiers of engage weapons. For some reason, though, you still have access to augmenting the engage weapons here, so we can spoil the fact that Sigurd will eventually get Tearfing, Leif will eventually get the magical and high crit light brand, Roy will get the binding blade, and Micaiah will get the tactical horse armor nuking incantation, otherwise known as Thani. But yeah, I hope people don't mind, but I just feel a bit cheap using those paid DLC crystals to enhance my engage weapons. This is a feature that honestly, like, you can beat Maddening without ever doing this. For Maddening, you do kind of need to use forging and sometimes bond rings and other mechanics like that. You really don't need to augment your engage weapons though. And I like that because it means that, like, the DLC is not, like, fully pay to win. You know what, let's dine with our 2 new allies. Actually, those are some good bonuses. So, you don't have to have, like, all the ingredients for a dish, but I think the main reason why I've never seen any completely ruined dishes in my playthroughs is because I often always go for dishes that I have ingredients for. So hopefully lacking pork for this is not going to ruin it.
Thank you.
Their reactions to that seem... Oh, wait, no, not even average, was A rank, okay. That was a pretty subdued reaction for an A rank dish. If older also gains strength, defense, magic, resistance, does Aaliyah count for that? Because he's technically over 1,000 years old?
Please, take this with you.
I don't think it counts. In fact, is Vander the only person in my army who counts as older? Let me actually check. Oh, okay, so Fram is getting +1. Alfred is getting +2. Okay, Alfred's above the age threshold for older, so my guess is that it's 20 or above internally? So yeah, maybe those internal ages are doing something, because Amber's definitely old enough for it. Lapis is not, okay. And you aren't either. And Aaliyah doesn't count either. Okay, interesting. So it's more based on physical age. But there is new stock at the armory and the shops. Let's check it out. So, what do they got? They've got... Oh, yeah, the exclamation marks. I like how the new things are marked. So, we can buy steel weapons now. We can buy armor... Well, only one steel weapon. Armor Slayer and Iron Blade. And this also means we can buy Grutlances. So, I might like one of those for Louis, actually. And yes, we can also buy Iron Grutuxes. And we can buy longbows now. Excellent. And also Thunder and Winds. Also, we can get the shielding art that grants defense +5. I mean, given how much defense Aaliyah has been gaining... Although we'll probably get one of those later, and honestly, arts aren't super strong with Aaliyah anyway. Yeah, with that magic stat of 2. But yeah, I will take a Grutlance for Louis. And the reason why I say it that way is because of Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. Because in Radiant Dawn, like, they couldn't display, like, Great Lance in the menu, so it's just called Grutlance. But what I really like is when the shop has new stock. So they've got Restore, Rewarp. Okay, a staff imbued with space warping magic teleports the user up to 5 spaces away. Something I have to thank the comment section for telling me. This works with Micaiah, which lets you warp yourself and up to 4 allies. That's not broken at all, and I'm going to grab one of those because of it.
I thank you.
So we've also got another Obstruct staff. Also, Infinite Illume staves are available. Too bad we won't really need them until Chapter 13. Restore staves are also nice to have. And if you go down to the bottom, yes. Okay, oh, only 1 Master Seal, though. 3 second seals, but only 1 Master Seal. I forgot they were that. I thought there were 2.
I thank you. Do come again.
So now I've got to think really hard about who this Master Seal goes to. Oh, and here's the really painful thing. Clan has been doing so well. I really, really want to promote Clan. But because John gets double class growths, he really benefits from promoting as soon as possible. I'm going to go for a 3-star upgrade chance on this. The other new thing available at the Somniel is the fishing ponds. Yeah, they wouldn't put a pond like this out here for no reason. And Alcrus is the one here. We're now able to go fishing!
Oh.
Unlike some other particular JRPGs, there are no guardians in this pond. Bonus species, Samian herring.
Of course.
But let's go. Alcrus, you'll see more of that in your supports, trust me. Press A to cast your line. Keep an eye out for the ripples big fish make. See, this is the thing that messes me up. There are so many JRPGs with fishing mechanics, and they're different in every single one. So yeah, you have to tilt opposite to its direction, and then press buttons.
Pick a rod.
Of all of the fishing minigames I played, this one's actually a little tricky at times.
Where were you thinking?
I love the angry-eyed Somi there.
Now!
Oh yeah, and you have to mash the button when it's in the zone. Reduce the health of the fish, and then... Is that good enough? For, like, the timing? Success!
Good catch. Nicely done.
I do love a good over-dramatic fishing minigame.
Do you want to keep going?
And I believe that has maxed out Somi's affection, too.
Pick a rod. A stunning performance. I'm impressed. A stunning performance. I'm impressed.
Okay, that's the bonus fish, but yeah, that's my 3 catches for the day. You do get fish that you can use in meals with that.
Come back soon.
Yeah, it's only the, yeah, you can only do those 3 attempts and they each get you bond fragments. So, the thing is, okay, I don't really find myself doing fishing that much in Engage. I definitely fished a lot more in 3 houses I found, but I feel like it's... Okay, so it's a few things. One, I feel like the bond fragment to time ratio for fishing is just not quite high enough to justify really doing it. But the other thing is, the just basic map gameplay of Engage is so good that I just don't really want to spend time on minigames. Like, the Somniel minigames are okay, but I always just want to get back to more battle gameplay, so... Yeah, don't take it as me knocking the Somniel or the minigames at all. I do think it's generally decent, it's just that, like, the main gameplay is just so much better.
I have been waiting for this.
I have been waiting for the chance to beat up a small child. Well, it was enough to get into level 10, that's fine. That's a bit of a disappointing level, though. I mean, strength's okay.
Yeah.
And we get a level up for Anna. No strength or magic, but dex and speed is nice. Will Lapis get a level up out of the arena? Because I kind of doubt Alchrist will. 27 he needs, and you need 23. But you are promoted, so you probably will get less. I can try at least.
I'll cut you down to size. You cut me down most effectively. Thanks for the sparring match.
Did she just get exactly one more experience than she needed? That's great. But, oh, and they have a support too. I don't think I remember them having a support. But, yeah, those quotes matched up so perfectly. The thing is, though, I actually do really like Roy with Lapis, so I might want to get her some Roy levels.
I'm Lapis, a royal soldier of Brodia.
I am Roy. I'm looking forward to this. Well fought. I must train my skills.
Thanks for the sparring match.
Of course, Roy loses his first arena fight.
I get to fight beside Brodia's national treasure. What an honor. I'm looking forward to this, Roy.
No need to be that humble, Lapis. We both fight for peace. And I'm looking forward to it as well.
Also, please don't put me in a movie alongside Nicolas Cage. I actually do kind of like National Treasure, though. I mean, I admit it's probably not a great film, but it's fun. Yeah, I think I will go to Holdout Plus.
I won't waste this chance.
Well fought. I must train my skills.
Thanks for the sparring match.
That, on the other hand, was legitimately impressive of Lapis. So, by going to 5 with Leif, Yunaka does like Vantage a lot, thanks to her being able to get her personal skills crit rate and evasion from terrain, especially outside of Maddening mode.
I am Leif, the Prince of Leonster.
Wow, that accuracy.
I must become stronger.
Hey! I actually...
Yeah, remember I said there are a lot of emblems that often lose in the arena? It's usually Roy and Leif.
You know, Leif, I get the feeling you've been through some tough stuff. I respect that.
Yeah, his parents being massacred while he was just a baby, being raised by a guy whose wife got turned to stone, then being, like, passed out around from a lot of people while his country gets invaded, and then the first, like, 5 chapters of his game, he ends up in a trap and his whole army gets arrested, and then his mentor gets petrified.
The feeling is mutual, Yunaka. I admire your fighting spirit.
And that's just the first 5 chapters of Thracia. Again, pretty underrated story. And yeah, now she has axe proficiency and bow proficiency, which it means she might actually be able to go to Wolf Knight later. I do quite like Wolf Knight, Yunaka. Okay, just regular Vantage only works with 25% HP or less instead of 50%, but 500 SP is sort of a cheap prospect for that, and I have a lot of manuals for SP, so I think I will grab that now. I suppose I'll also take Knife Precision 1 for now. You know, that plus 15 hit with the staff could really come in handy later. I've used a couple of manuals on Louis. Do I really want to go for hit plus 15? It's only an extra 5 hit for double the price of hit plus 10. I think I'll take hit plus 10 for now. You know, I may actually need this if I reclass Aaliyah into a Key Adept. Oh, you know what? You know what? This is favoritism, but if anybody deserves favoritism, it's Clan. With the Adept book, I can get Clan one of the Magic Plus skills from Celica, which he sorta needs. Ah, okay, right. Sometimes I like getting Anna build plus 3.
Have I met you before?
I'm Lady Anna, a traveling merchant. I sell only the best, so snap it up now or regret it later.
I forget if Anna is even in... No, wait. Thracia has secret shops, doesn't it? Pretty sure Anna's in the game in that case. Because I know that I think Gaiden is the only Fire Emblem that Anna is not in at all. But Anna in Genealogy is just a cameo, and it requires you to have the substitute second generation in order to see her, so... she's a little bit obscure in Genealogy, but I think she's probably in secret shops in Thracia. So yes, Anna is going to get ripped in one easy step. well, 2 easy steps. Firstly, train with Leif and then inherit this skill. You already start with 800 SP. What can I buy for that? For a little more, you could get Strength +2. Oh, but I would need to train you with Roy in order to actually get you to inherit that. Sometimes I forget. It's easy to forget that you have to be level 5 with an emblem to inherit skills, so is it worth spending bond fragments on Amber for that? 400. I mean, 400's not a ton in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, let's go for this.
I'm Amber, a royal soldier of Brodia.
So I have never seen any of Amber's bond conversations before.
Oh, I can't believe it. The legendary Roy was hiding inside Brodia's ring the whole time.
I'm not that big of a deal. But hey, I'm happy that you're happy.
I mean, it is true, like even besides the jokes about Roy not promoting, Roy would not consider himself a big deal. In fact, Roy actually, part of his character is that he kind of suffers from a lot of self-doubt, and it makes sense because he's leading an army at only age, 15. In fact, that actually means Roy and Alcaris would probably get along pretty well. Yeah, so just 2 novice books should do it. I am running out of these books, though. 1 more expert book. So I have to think who to use that one on. Because that's actually effectively Cancer on somebody. Avoid +10 all the time, avoid +3 when using a knife. Probably shouldn't have even inherited knife precision. And now, I feel so bad to Clan for doing this, but again, I do feel like this is kind of necessary. Okay, so Jean does not have sword proficiency yet, so he can't go a Mage Knight immediately. I wanted to go with Mage Knight Jean, but High Priest bumps his luck growth up to 85%, which would be kind of fun to have him in that class for at least a few levels. Please tell me he doesn't lose the hat. Yeah, he keeps the hat! Given his starting proficiencies, High Priest is sort of his canon promotion, so I'm not surprised he keeps the hat, but I'm pretty sure he keeps the hat in most classes. Just so that I have the option to go Mage Knight with him later, what's the cheapest way to get sword proficiency on him?
It's my dream to be a doctor, just like my father. People will still get sick even after the war.
I think in a lot of real-life wars, many thousands of people died from sickness. Sometimes sickness was more deadly than the enemy.
I am sure you will be a splendid doctor. I await the day you can fulfill that dream.
Mars like, wait, do we even have doctors in my world? Actually, this means that Jean can now inherit the Avoid Plus skill, which might be fun. Okay, he's got to go to 8 to get sword proficiency. That's a bit of bond fragment expenditure, but... And there's sword proficiency. Yeah, I think I'd rather him have Avoid +10 all the time than just Avoid +15 while attacking. Oh, right, and now I can actually give Jean magic. And here at the smithy, we can show off the engravings of the 2 emblems we just got. So first, the binding. Yeah, this gives a very small might increase, but sometimes that might increase is all you need. But it drastically raises weight and lowers avoid. Even though this is a might bonus, I don't find myself using Roy's Engrave all that much. Like, it's just 1 more might than Beginnings and Holy, and for, like, what cost? Just, it makes your weapon so heavy that you're never going to double, and that makes the might less valuable. If anyone in the comments has found a good use for Roy's Engrave, I guess on Smash weapons, maybe? Actually, probably it is meant to be used on Smash weapons. And then we have Genealogy, which also gives a might bonus, increases weight, but it does boost hit and avoid a little bit. In fact, hit significantly. Okay, there's a few things I may want to do here. So I've got a few... Okay, I got 1 spare steel sword. Because I can turn this into 11 sword, and I kinda want to do that. Not that I have any Mage Knights to really use this with. I mean, anybody can use 11 sword. It also lets, like, a backup sword user do 1 to 2 range chance hacks without access to lances or axes, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, we can forge up a Gritlance, which will also lower its weight a little bit. You can also forge these up. In fact, that's effectively a killer axe. It's kind of heavy, though. And then that's a lot of silver, but apart from that, it's pretty cheap in terms of iron and gold. The problem is that my best axe user right now is Anna, so that might not be a great investment. Forging up a longbow can be nice, though. Costs a lot of steel. But I'll +1 it at least. So I believe this... Yeah, it turns into a silver bow. And then the silver bow for... 10 steel. Can I get 10 steel? I can trade 1 silver, and I have 10 steel. I don't know if this is like the best right now because the chances of Anna actually being promoted anytime soon are quite low. By the time she will be, I probably will already have a Radiant Bow. I'm just gonna go for it. There we go, Radiant Bow. Now let's forge up Jean's fire a little bit. It's only 1 more might on that surge, but every little bit helps, and that's pretty cheap. And forging up thunder is always nice. 2 extra points of might on Alcris Steel Bow, I will take that. I mean, that gets you horrifically doubled if any enemy attacks you, but on a tome that can't double attack anyway, I almost wonder if this is worth it, kind of. I mean, it's only 100 bond fragments. I'm gonna try this for now. And with all of that skill inheritance and forging done, it's finally time for support conversations. So, let's see. Got quite a few supports with Aaliyah.
Maybe I'm coming at this wrong.
I thought you were saying maybe I counted wrong, and then I'm like, just like I counted the damage wrong with Chloe earlier.
What are you thinking about, Anna?
Oh, that's Lady Anna to you. But to answer your question, I'm brainstorming new products.
More stuff to sell, huh?
Yep. You know what Sweethearts Day is?
The day when people get alts and heroes? Actually, is this the exact name of that holiday in Heroes? Because if it is, that's nice continuity.
I think I've heard of it. It's where couples give each other gifts, right?
Actually, no, I think that's the Day of Devotion.
That's the one. Usually people just give each other flowers, but the same old gift every year loses its luster.
And, as certain people would say, all flowers eventually wilt.
So, I'm out to market something mind-blowing that'll bring the spark back to Sweethearts Day.
Wow, that's a pretty lofty goal.
Oh, quit treating me like a kid and help me out here, Divine One. Nothing I've come up with so far has grabbed me, so I could use someone else's input.
Let's see here. Something new for Sweethearts Day. How about necklaces?
I see you have your finger on the pulse of the average Sweethearts Day participant. Necklaces are almost as played out as flowers. They're hardly going to blow anyone's mind.
I see.
What about, like, matching necklaces that have a mild enchantment so that when they're near each other, they glow?
Customers don't want something they can get anywhere. They want something one of a kind. The constant need to come up with goods like that is what makes my line of work so tricky.
Got it. I'll keep thinking. We'll come up with something good eventually.
Aaliyah is just like, wait, I just agreed to be a business partner, didn't I?
Divine One, watch out! There's a wolf!
Oh, I remember this support now.
What? Where? Mr. Wolf, please go away. Leave the Divine Dragon alone. I beg you.
That won't work. You have to first ask Mr. Wolf what time it is, and then he'll say like 2 o'clock, and then you have to take 2 steps towards him while his back is turned. But then if he says dinner time, that's when you run.
It isn't listening to me. No choice. I'll have to get serious.
That pose! Is he about to bow in apology like the incident at the border?
Or he is getting ready to use Kowtow Cleave.
Mr. Wolf, I'm so sorry. I'm sure that my apologies will enrage you further, to the point you might devour me. And if I wind up in your stomach, my allies may waste days looking for me. But I must persist. Please, though I have no right to make this request, I ask you to go home. I'm begging you.
The wolf is actually turning away. Incredible.
Congratulations, Alchrist. You're officially too pathetic to be on the food chain.
There it goes. Thank goodness you're all right, Divine One.
Thank you, Alchrist. I'm glad you're okay too. That was a risky move.
There should be like a giant thing flashing up on screen saying, "Do not do this in real life, by the way."
Think nothing of it. Your life is worth far more than mine, so I just did what needed to be done.
No. My life, your life, everyone's lives. None of us are above anyone else.
This is kinda why I don't think romance makes sense for Aaliyah, personally.
You're right, Divine One. Looks like I've fallen short yet again. The Divine Dragon's radiance should lighten my mood, but I've managed to darken it instead. I sincerely apologize. I should leave.
What? Alchrist, wait! Wow, he's so fast.
I'll definitely talk more about Alchrist later, but I definitely have a lot to say about him.
Ah! One of the corrupted!
The corrupted? Where?
Diamant, help!
Wait, hang on, is this the same city backdrop they used for Three Houses supports? I think it might be.
Whew. Thanks for the save, Diamant. Sorry to trouble you like that.
It does look really familiar.
No trouble at all. However, I must ask, how did that creature manage to overpower and frighten the Divine One?
It came out of nowhere. I just started running. I'm not really good with the corrupted.
I mean, to be fair, few people are.
Not good with them? You handle them in battle just fine.
Well, I mean, it's a little easier when you've got an army backing you up and also when you have a sword that can stab them.
It's different on the battlefield. I can spot them first, then steal myself before engaging.
Literally engaging in your case.
That last corrupted soldier got the drop on me. My guard was down. I'm an easy target for them outside of battle.
I don't follow.
Isn't there something that makes your skin crawl, Diamant?
I suppose hairy caterpillars can have that sort of effect on me.
Okay. Let's say you knew you were about to see a big caterpillar. You'd have a chance to prepare.
I just love how earnestly Aaliyah is giving this analogy, even though it sounds kind of silly.
Now, imagine you're eating dinner at home, and a caterpillar suddenly drops onto your plate. Wouldn't that startle you? Wouldn't you cry out in surprise?
I probably would.
That's what sneak attacks from the corrupted feel like. Caterpillars dropping on my plate.
Again, just...
I understand. Very clear explanation, Divine One.
That was a strange example, but I'm glad you followed it. Sorry you had to watch me struggle like that. How unflattering. I wish I was flawless like you, Diamant.
Flawless?
Implying Diamant does not see himself that way. Diamant is, like, I don't know, he's one of those characters that I find, like, only okay. Like, he got a high result once.
Louis, hey, hi!
In a Japanese popularity poll, but the respondents were mostly women, so I feel like that's mostly from just people who want to romance him.
Hello there, Yonaka. Have you had a windfall of some sort? Your smile is especially radiant.
Oh, gross. Cut the sweet talk before I start puking rainbows.
You know, puking rainbows just makes me think of Raincoat now, and that means that Yunaka's gonna puke out some solution keys for us.
Listen, I got you something. Just a little thank you. Look, look, look!
Oh my! One look is enough to tell me that these tea leaves are very fine indeed.
I expected nothing less from the master.
Wait, no, Saline is the true master of tea.
You've used so many leaves on me. I'm worried you'll be a tealess husk if I don't give back.
Tealess husk.
So, I know it's not much, but I hope you'll accept the donation. It's for a good cause.
You know, that should be the name of a Xenoblade unique monster. Tealess husk.
I am all too happy to accept your gracious gift. I believe I'll brew them right away. You're welcome to join me, of course.
Tealess husk Louis.
Are you sure? I don't want you thinking I got you tea just so you'd brew it for me.
Tea is better with two. I enjoy our bracing conversations almost as much as the tea.
Right. Conversations.
Oh yeah, I have to talk to you, I guess.
I do enjoy chatting with you.
So much so, I kinda worry I might slip up.
Meaning?
Huh? Oh, I just remembered I have a thing! A thing I gotta do, or else, yeah, so next time.
Oh, that is unfortunate. I confess I was looking forward to spending the whole time talking about myself.
You were, planning to spend the whole time talking my ear off about yourself, huh?
Yes. I'm just in that sort of mood today.
Oh, well, if that's the case, I can set my thing aside as a favor to you. I mean, I'm a great listener, so you can feel free to hold nothing back. Tell me absolutely everything.
Splendid. I shall put on a pot of tea for us at once.
Yeah, Yunaka has a lot of good supports. I do feel like her one with Louis is not the best, though. I'll have to look at the other support conversations she has, and... Oh, these are the only people she supports with right now? Okay. Wait, is that... Okay, no, I do still have Saline and Lapis.
Oh my. What is that you're drinking, Lapis? It smells heavenly.
Princess Saline, this is regular tea. Yep, nothing special about it.
Saline is just like, you dare bring regular tea into my presence!
Do you mind if I have a sip?
What? No, you're a princess. You shouldn't be drinking this sort of thing.
What's the harm in it? You seem to be suffering no ill effects.
It's not that, it's... Well, see, I didn't get the tea leaves from a shop. I harvested them from a wild plant nearby.
Do you mean that you make your own tea? That's wonderful.
You mean people outside of Furine are allowed to make tea?
Now I must insist that you let me try it.
Alright, if you insist. Here.
Thank you. Oh, this is bracing indeed. I wasn't quite expecting the taste.
So wait, that's two people who've used the expression bracing, and I actually don't know what it means.
You like it? I actually made the tea set by hand as well.
You made this? Its finery would shame some artisans I know. I'm very impressed that you're able to make so many things all on your own.
I appreciate that, but really, it's nothing special.
Nonsense, Lapis. If it's not too much trouble, could you teach me to brew tea like this? I'd be interested in learning which wild plants to pick and how to brew tea from them.
I'd be happy to. Let's go to the forest together sometime and I'll teach you.
Excellent. I shall pay close attention, my teacher of tea.
Well, I guess she really isn't the master of tea. But okay then. This actually gives me a good opportunity to try to do something. I'm really hoping that I'm able to unlock a support between Alchrist and Saline here. Because there are two types of Saline supports. There are the type like that are like, loving tea is my one defining trait. There we go, okay, it worked. And then there are Saline supports like this.
Princess Saline, you're up rather late. Is something the matter?
Oh, Prince Alchrist. It's nothing. My sleep was restless tonight, that's all.
Ah, did you have a bad dream?
I dreamt my brother died.
Oh.
This is a recurring dream, mind you. One that I have had many times since childhood. My brother used to be chronically ill, you see. But even now, I can't shake the feeling that he might be taken from me at any moment.
Oh, Princess Saline.
Alfred has recovered since then, make no mistake. He is the picture of robust health now.
This is why Alfred made that comment about Yunaka's health in Chapter 6.
That he is. He always seems so brave on the battlefield. It's amazing.
It's also why Alfred is obsessed with fitness training.
For what it's worth, I have those same bad dreams myself. Dreams where my brother Diamant is taken from me, that is.
Oh, do you now?
I do. They're a bit grim, so I've never discussed them with anyone.
I see. I should like to hear more about them, if you are willing. But the hour is far too late for that, I think. Another time, Prince Alchrist?
Of course. I'm free to talk whenever you need a sympathetic ear.
And that is the duality of Saline supports. If you can find her best ones, Saline, like I've said, is one of the deepest characters in this game. So let's head on out to... Yes, I know the boutique has more clothing available, but unfortunately I don't care. So I love what happens when the next chapter gets unlocked after chapter 8. Whee! All the way down there. Chapter 9, The Fort on the Border, will be our next chapter. I will see you all next time for that.